Welcome to another episode, and tonight we are hosting Godfred Kankam. He is a master's student at the Pan-African University in Kenya. He is an African Union scholar and he hails from Ghana. Today in our conversation we are going to discuss about his journey to becoming a fully funded master's student in Kenya and his experience as an international student based in Kenya. So to this conversation, welcome. And I will always start with this simple question. What is your opinion about Kenya so far?
Thank you very much, Mr. Omai. Yeah, I think so far so good. Kenya has Kenya has been great since you came here. I think everything is. I think I even compared to Ghana. I was like, no, Kenya is maybe I would say Kenya might be ahead of Ghana in
Mhm.
some one way or the other. So I think it's great to be in Kenya, especially within this environment of Nairobi, Juja, and then the Pan African University environment. Yeah, Kenya has been so far so good. Yeah, very good.
I'm glad that you're liking there. And in this conversation, we are going to discuss about your application process, how you went through applying to the Pan African University, which is also located at JKUAT, that is based in Juja.
Yeah.
We are also going to discuss about your personal experiences. So, to begin with, how did you learn about this scholarship?
Actually, when I completed my undergraduate studies in 2022, yeah, I was a teaching assistant in my university, which is the University of Energy and Natural Resource, based in Sunyani, Ghana. Yeah, so I was a teaching assistant for 1 year. As usual in Ghana, when you complete school, you have to do something we call national service. So
Mhm.
during the national service period, that was when I was a teaching assistant on campus. Then you see some of us, because we were teaching assistants, if you don't take care, you finish and then you have nothing doing. And so with that, we took it upon ourselves to, explore. Yeah. Because one of the advantages you will get is at least you get to sit in the office, you get internet and then all that. So you have to, explore and then find what you can have and think about your future once you finish your service as a teaching assistant.
Mhm.
So from there, I had a lot on LinkedIn, yeah, because I've been very active on LinkedIn, and
Mhm.
then searching through scholarships, through opportunities, through even
Yes.
jobs. Yeah, we were just searching jobs, scholarships, anything, and
Mhm.
then I fortunately this particular scholarship, although I applied to a lot of scholarship, unfortunately this particular scholarship was sent to one of our platforms by my boss, who I
Mhm.
was teaching assistant for. Yeah, so he sent to that was the first time I knew about this scholarship. It was around September. Yeah, September. So that was the first time, September last year.
Mhm.
That was the first time I knew about this scholarship. So when he sent it to the platform, like we were like, Africa. I finished here. Am I going to school in Africa, masters? Because we
Mhm.
were all looking to, go to Europe, UK, US, and all that. I was
Yes.
like, okay, Africa. When we have to open it. I open it and I check the conditions and the stipends and everything. I was like, yeah, it's great. Let me try at least. So that's where I I found this particular scholarship on one of platforms. Like we had the teaching assistant platforms. Yeah. So it
Mhm.
was my boss who posted it on the platform, and then I took the opportunity to apply. Yeah.
Okay, so I understand that the Pan African University, that is PAU, we will call it PAU from here going forward,
Yeah. Yeah.
has more campuses. One in Kenya, there is one in West Africa, I think Cameroon. So, and there's another one in South Africa.
Yeah.
So the question is, why did you decide to go to Kenya and not elsewhere?
All right. Firstly, the PAU scholarship has every campus has a particular courses it offers, and
Hmm.
so based on your background, based on what you want to pursue, yeah,
Hmm.
basically that is the first criteria for me to decide where I want to be. Was
Okay.
checking through all the scholarships, all the campuses, find out that PAUSTI, which is Pan African University Institute of Basic Sciences, Technology and Innovation, that is the one based in Kenya, is the one that offers uh, especially my course, structural
Yes.
engineering and transportation engineering. Yeah, they were the one who, this campus was offering those courses. Other campuses too were offering courses like, I think, water, and then some environmental course in Algeria, some in Cameroon, and in Nigeria too. Yeah, so this particular one was the one offering civil engineering courses, so I had to focus here. And even secondly, aside that, you see, in fact, I'm from Ghana, and then Nigeria is just here. I think Nigeria had some courses maybe I could divert to, but I was like, no, I will never go to school because I'm just from Ghana, and then Nigeria is
Yeah.
just Nigeria, yeah, neighbors and all that. So I was like, for the four campuses, my focus was basically on either Kenya or Algeria. And then luckily, I got to know that my course I was offering going through, I found out that my course is in Kenya. So I was like, okay, then I'll apply for Kenya because that would be,
So,
for me.
so while you were going through the application process, you must have come across the criteria for selection.
Yeah.
And somebody who is listening to this conversation
Yeah.
is also interested to know what is the criteria so that I can be also accepted on this fully funded scholarship.
I think for the criteria, there are several criteria, but I think the basic ones is for you to, graduate with at least a second class upper. That is, I would say, especially for men, for male. Yeah, for ladies can be considerate because the African Union kind of considers ladies, and then for ladies you can apply with a lower. Yeah, I think, but for guys or for men, male, yeah, at least a second class upper would do. And then secondly, there is a year. I think there is a year. So for masters, I think you are not supposed to be older than 30 years for someone who is applying to masters. And then for a PhD, you're not supposed to be older than 35. So I think these are the two basic criteria. Firstly, to graduate with at least a second class upper. But if you're a female, you can be considered with a second class lower. Yeah. And then for the age, for a master's, you're not supposed to be more than 30 years, at least at most 30 years for a master's, and then at most 35 years for a PhD, candidate. Yeah. I think these are the two basic criteria. Sure.
And of course, there's this specific one that you have to be African.
Yeah, you have to be an African. At least you have to be a member of one of the African Union states. Yeah, that's also the general one. You have to be an African, sure.
Must I be speaking English?
Not really, because the African Union members, we don't all speak English. Some speak French, some speak Portuguese, some speak, English, and so we consider all of us. And then, so when we come here, it depends on the campus you are going. I think the basic language we use, the basic language of instruction is English among all the campuses. So when you come to the campus, whether you are from French speaking, you are from Portuguese speaking country, when we come here, we are taught the language before you continue the actual class. So for the French speaking countries, when they came, they were taught English for some months before, so you get yourself familiar with the language and how to go about things before you start the actual class. Even for us who are English speaking, when we came here, you're required to learn French, but it's not for our coursework, but it's just to learn as a Pan-Africanist, as someone coming to Pan-African University. At least you have to know these basic languages, and we even learned some Kiswahili, because we are in Kenya.
Yeah, I'm actually coming back to that part. Now that you are in Kenya, what language do people speak in Kenya?
Yeah, basically, Kiswahili is I would say the local language here, and then a lot of people speak Kiswahili, although almost, I would say almost 70% or 80% to speak English. So it's not really a problem with the language. We don't have, especially for us English speaking, we don't really have a lot of problem with language barrier, because
Yes.
at least most people in Kenya speak English, but the common language speaking among everyone is the Kiswahili language. Yeah.
So, that gives a lot of insights about what people should expect,
Yeah,
because Africa being what Africa is, has a lot of languages, and all these different languages, people are going to come, and some people are going to come speaking Portuguese, some people are going to come speaking is it
French.
French,
Yeah,
some are going to be speaking English. So
French.
for each and every scholar, so they should expect at least their primary mode of instruction is going to be English, and
English.
they are going to get classes. If you are not from an English speaking country, you're going to get classes, right?
Sure.
Did you need to prove about your English proficiency when you were applying for your master's?
Yeah. I remember I had to, send, but it was not an IELT or a TOEFL, but from my school, a document
Mhm.
from my school to prove that I actually speak English.
So
So
what is
if you
this
have,
document?
yeah, we call it English proficiency letter in my school. So you go to
Mhm.
the school and tell them you want an English proficiency letter, they'll prepare it for you with your name, and then
Yes.
that's it. You use to apply. So I think from the French speaking countries too, you prove that you actually understand French. So they too, you have to present that certificate, which shows
Okay.
that you did your studies in either French or English. Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about the application process for a little bit.
Okay.
I want to make an application today.
Okay.
What am I looking at? What am I expected to present to make an application?
Okay. So the documents needed for you to, firstly, as we said, firstly you should be an African. That is the first thing. And then once you're
Mhm.
African, you need some document to present to show that you are an African. So firstly, your national ID is very important. Your passport and national ID, they are very
Mhm.
key in the application. So some of the documents, although I started from passport, national ID, because you are basically required to, submit this document, passport, and then either passport or in Ghana, we have Ghana card, so you can use your Ghana card or any national ID from your country to,
Mhm.
prove that you are an African. And
Yes.
then from there, in the actual application process, the documents you need, as usual, you need your certificate. If you're applying for masters, you need your undergraduate certificate. That is the first thing. And then you need your transcript too, the graduate transcript. And then it should be the official transcript. Yeah, the official transcript from your school.
What do you
That
mean? What do you mean by an official transcript?
okay. So okay, for here,
Mhm.
the official transcript is I think for my school you have to apply for the official transcript, and then it will be stamped, like to be certified. So
Yes.
I will say it is your official transcript which is certified, because you can get the transcript from your school's website, but it might not be certified. So the
Mhm.
official transcript which is certified by your school, and then even your certificate should be also certified, because I think it was stated on the site that the certificate should be a certified one. Also, you need for masters presented one reference letter. That's one recommendation letter for masters.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, and I think maybe it is similar for PhD. I remember, yeah, it is similar for PhD, but for PhD, you need to present a research proposal. Yeah, for PhD, you need to
So at
represent.
the master's level, you were not expected to submit a research proposal.
No, at the master's level, we didn't submit a research proposal. Yeah.
Okay.
So at the master's, yeah, sure. The
So you wrote a
statement,
certain letter and
yeah,
submitted during your application.
yeah. For this application,
So
you have to write your. It's kind of similar to the statement of purpose we write, but here we call it cover letter. It was called cover letter, which
mhm.
is a document to show why you think you should be given this scholarship, why you
Yeah.
deserve this scholarship, and then to
Mhm.
just give a brief description about yourself, your purpose, and then how you think you can impact Africa, because basically this university, it was
Mhm.
established by the African Union to help improve Africa through research and through other innovations. So how you think you can impact Africa, why you think you should be accepted, why you think the studies that you're going to do will have impact on your country and then the whole of Africa. Sure. So that is a cover letter. So you present a cover letter,
Mhm.
your undergraduate certificate, your transcripts, yeah, your undergraduate transcript. That is for masters, and then okay, you even present a high school certificate too. I remember I presented a high school certificate. So if you are applying for a PhD too, it means you have to present your master's certificate.
Here is my question. I've never written any of these documents, but this is my first time, and I want to make sure that I make a strong case. I make a good application that will be accepted.
Okay.
So, how should I write my application letter, what you're calling a cover letter, based on your experience, based on what you wrote? What should I put into my cover letter? What design should I use? Do I need to start by putting the address, my address, a title, a salutation, and such things? Or I just begin? How do I go about it?
For the cover letter, it is you don't really put your address. From what I did, you don't really put your address, but you direct it to the directorate of the Pan African University. So, but you don't really put you personally your address, but you only direct it to the Pan African University directorate. Yeah, and then from there, it is not like maybe a formal letter you're writing, or no, it's just you just write its cover letter, and then you direct it to, just like you are writing a statement of purpose. Maybe you might write, not all schools, but some schools, maybe you might write the head of department or the head of something, but not all schools require that. So here too, it was on the site that you are supposed to direct it to the directorate, the Pan African University. Yeah.
So if I get what you are describing correctly, I will go at the top of my page. Let's say at the top, maybe let's say top left, and then write the directorate, Pan African University, their address, Then this is what there. Then what comes next? Do I be like dear sir or madam? Then I have a title.
Not really. On the top left, as you said, the directorate or the director, Pan African University, and then the address. Then maybe your title will come first. A cover letter, for a cover letter for a program in maybe transportation engineering. Then so from there, your cover letter, you just start writing. Yeah, you start writing. Maybe you start from your background. Because if you want to, this is a cover letter, so you are writing to tell them, you are writing to impress them. So you start very good, so that because what you start with might create a good impression about you. Because if you don't start well, it might be the person reading will just take it and this person is not serious. So at least you start well. Yeah, you start very well. So you can start like me, for instance. Because I was going to do transportation, so I started with a transportation engineering quote. Yeah, so it depends on the course. I'm not saying you also want to start with a quote, but you can start but personally, I started with a transportation engineering quote, and then stated some things in my first paragraph, stated some things I have learned from like not really something I've learned in class, but something I have learned personally in life. That's has made me to move on up to this stage, and then why I am writing, why I want this particular scholarship. So I just started with a quote and then stated something that has motivated me to at this particular moment. So you start
then after that, now you have your quote, you have like, let's say you've generally talked about your passion for that subject. That's how I get it. Then now what comes next? Where do I get to talk about I need a scholarship? Where do I need to talk about my strengths? Where do I need to talk about my weaknesses, if I have them? If I want to do a research, do I need to mention and something like that?
So basically, this letter was, I think, for masters, you were limited to, I think, only one page. I think they stated the number, but if you check the number, it's not more than maybe a one page. So it is not a very long cover letter you are writing. So for mine, in the one page, I only wrote about 4 paragraphs. And for the 4 paragraphs, I think the introduction and then the ending, they were not very much. So it was these 2 second paragraphs that a lot of things went into the 2 paragraphs, the second paragraph and the third paragraph. See, so in the second paragraph, because from the introduction, you've already introduced that this and this and that has motivated you up to this stage. And so that's why you want to apply for this scholarship. And then from there, I came to the second paragraph. So in the second paragraph, that is where I come to state that I want to apply for a Pan-African University scholarship because especially in this course, like especially in transportation engineering,
Yes.
because I have seen the problems Africa, especially me, my country, Ghana, we are facing with transportation in terms of transportation planning, in terms of transportation design and other things. And so I believe this scholarship that I am applying, that's that's the second paragraph I'm talking about. So I'm applying for this scholarship so that I can come study and then come back to influence my country, to help my country grow, to help Africa as a whole grow in the transportation field. That was the second paragraph. So the second paragraph was kind of similar to the third paragraph because all of them were carrying
The
why
same message.
why I'm applying for this scholarship. So you can divide it how you want it. Maybe the first one, you can start with your motivation to apply for this scholarship, why you are motivated, or your motivation to apply for this scholarship. And then the third part, you can talk about why you think this scholarship will help you, why you think this scholarship can, help you solve certain problems in your country. You can even in there, you can talk about your research topic because especially for masters, because we didn't submit any research proposal. You can talk about what you are interested in researching in, what you are interested, where you want to go, whether you want to go to maybe transportation planning, transportation management, maybe highway design,
Yes.
materials. So you can talk about those particular items in the second and then the third paragraph because you don't have a lot of things to write. So you should be your essay should be as short as possible because you only have 1 page to convey all these messages inside. So
Yeah.
it's not like you are giving 2 or 3 pages. No, here you are giving only 1 page to write everything.
I've been listening to you very carefully, and if somebody has also been listening, I haven't heard you mention anything about having faced financial challenges. Is there another essay where you write that, or you purely sent it based
Nah.
on the problem you are looking at, the solutions you are offering, and how this scholarship is going to help you to offer that?
Yeah, okay. I think that was the next thing I was going to talk about. But yeah, so with me, for instance, the first paragraph, first introduce myself, second and third for the problems in Africa and what you think, how you think you can help solve these problems. And then the last paragraph, that was basically like the conclusion, because I think although financial challenges is part because that is why you think you should be given a scholarship. Maybe you cannot pay fees, so you should be given a scholarship to study. Although it is part, but the main thing African Union too is looking at to that the main reason why this university was established to solve problems in Africa. So that should be your focus first. Then you come to the financial challenges. So that last paragraph part of my last paragraph was used for the financial challenge part to explain why maybe you cannot fund a study. You have to, after you've spoken about your zeal, how you want to help and all that, and then now you are telling them all with all this passion, zeal, and even with your class, maybe you had the first class with all that, so that they can see, the person really can see, oh, this person is actually, a very intelligent guy. He can do this, and all that. And then you come and tell them after all that, you lack the financial support. Maybe your family is not capable. You are not capable to, help yourself through this, through a master program, whether in your country
Yes.
or elsewhere. So you think this scholarship will, help you to maybe achieve your goals of helping Africa to develop in the near future. So that was
Okay.
part of my last paragraph. Yeah.
You've brought it out very clearly, and this is what I also usually like to tell my audience.
Okay.
When you are making an application, not necessarily for a scholarship, but for anything, people want you to talk about their problems first before you talk about your problems.
Sure.
So, every time you're submitting an application, you need to tell the people, this is your problem. This is my solution. This is how I will achieve it.
Sure.
Then you can be like, but for me to achieve this, I have this problem. If you solve this problem, I'll also solve all the above problems. So don't focus on, and I think we are past that era where people write, I was born in this very poor family, and
Yeah.
as I was growing, I was always passionate about doing engineering. Now this opportunity will help me become an engineer. And now the question will be, so what? So like the very, very first thing is, it is nice you're telling your story, it's good, but the person reading will get to the end, then ask the question, now how have you solved the problems that we have? Because we are investing in you, how are you solving our problem? So first, begin by identifying a problem that is there in your society. For engineers, as he is, it can be a problem about poor road network. So for somebody who is doing mathematics, data science, it can be about low outreach or low usage or low maybe consumption and of data. So like to make decisions. If you are doing maybe another one in environmental science, you can be like, Africa is facing drought. Africa is facing this challenge, which is affecting food, which is affecting water. Then after that, you can be like, this is the solution I think I can provide. This is how I can provide the solution. I will be able to provide that through this master's program by learning these skills. Then after that, that's where now you can come and say, but for me to do this master's, I need financial support.
Sure.
Remember,
Sure.
the Pan African University is structured a little bit different in the sense that once you are admitted, you are also a fully funded student. Correct me if I'm wrong,
Yeah.
but that is how I understand it. Now, how long did it take you to get your feedback?
Okay. All right. So actually, we were told, I think from the site, that reading from the site, we were told that once the application period ends, it will take 2 months for us to get feedback. And the application period actually ended in October. Yeah, October, I think ending of October. That was last year. And so we were supposed to, get feedback by December ending or January. Yeah.
Mhm.
And then, should I say, unfortunately, maybe fortunately or unfortunately, we
Yes.
didn't hear anything. So me, for instance, I didn't hear anything. A lot of us, I think I applied with some of my mates, and then we didn't hear anything, and then we were like, "Oh, is it that we weren't picked or something?" So we were just waiting. We were just finding other means to, yeah, continue with life and all that. And
Yeah.
then in April, I think I was even sent. It was somebody in this university who was a Ghanaian, yeah, who
Mhm.
who first sent me kind of congratulations, and I was like, congratulations for for what?
For what?
Yeah, for what? It was like a Pan Africa University scholarship because it was like serious because I've not received anything yet and all that. And he said, "Oh, don't worry, they will send you very so."
Yeah.
Within the mid of April, and they
Mhm.
sent a acceptance letter. So we
Mhm.
applied in September, October, and then it took some time for us to receive the acceptance letter. That was in April. But
Mhm.
actually, when we came, we understood that there was a small challenge in the sense that the previous cohorts they usually come in April. They
Mhm.
usually start in April. But
Mhm.
the scholarship contract too is 2 years for masters and then exactly 3 years for PhD. And
Yes.
so when you come in April,
Mhm.
it means the next 2 year April, your scholarship contract will end. And then usually they graduate in June to ending of June with the Jomo Kenyatta University, which means within that period that your contract has ended, you have to fund yourself. And so I think there was a resolution. So the institute decided to, start the program in June so that we come exactly in June and then graduate in June so that within all those periods, you still be receiving your, stipend and your support. So that is why it was restructured. So they give us the notice in rather April so that we come in June and then exactly the next 2 year June, you finish your program and then graduate. Yeah.
I will take you one step back. You mentioned you submitted your references.
Yeah.
It was one reference letter, right?
Yeah, one reference letter.
Although I'm also aware that people are supposed to provide maybe WhatsApp numbers and such contact for the referee. Yeah. Who was your referee and how did you decide this is an ideal person to be my referee?
Okay. Actually, we submitted one reference letter, but we submitted about 3 referees. Yeah. That one, we provided their WhatsApp number and then email for them to be contacted. But the reference letter was only one, but the referees were 3. Yeah. Actually, my referees were my boss, who I was a teaching assistant for, was one. And then one of my lecturers who taught me in undergrad, he taught me fluid mechanics and all that. He was a very good lecturer, so he was also one. And then one lecturer too. He didn't really teach me, but one of my undergraduate projects I did, he was my supervisor in that project. That was a design project in civil engineering. He was my supervisor, so he was also one of them. And then you see, for the references, sometimes for you to get someone to be a referee for you, at least the person should know you. Yeah, the person should know you very well so that in case we don't know whether they called or they emailed, in case they called or emailed the person should, be able to talk about you that, yes, this is Godfred, this is Kankam, this is how he is. I did this for him, he was very good, he was all that. So at least the person should, know you very well. So all these people I selected, they were people who knew me very well. And because I was a teaching assistant on campus too, sometimes I assist them in one way or the other. So they knew me. So giving them as reference wasn't a problem. And then you have to talk to the person for the person to know that you are using him or her as a reference so that in case any call comes in, he will be, ready to respond that, yeah, I know this person, you can talk about you and all that. Yeah, sure. So that is how I chose my referees. Yeah.
In case you are joining us now, this is the Management Diary, and tonight we are hosting Godfred Kankam. He is a master's student at the Pan-African University, which is based in Nairobi, but it has also several campuses across Africa. Pan-African University offers fully funded scholarships for Africans to study in Africa to address problems that face Africa. And most of the programs that are provided are mostly STEM programs. If you want to get a lot of more information about the Pan-African University, just check the description of this video and we are going to leave a link about the university. Also, we rolled out a new service. If you have any inquiries, you can now book appointments with scholars we host and part of our team to discuss about your issues and applications to different universities all over the world. Just check the description of this video and you're going to get all the necessary information on how we can always remain in touch. So, coming up next, we are going to discuss what most people are now interested in: the money.
Sure. Very necessary.
What is a fully funded scholarship in the context of the Pan-African University Scholarship?
Okay, all right. Okay, so in a Pan-African University, a fully funded scholarship, that is, once you are accepted into the Pan-African University, you are fully funded, first of all. Then the scholarship covers a lot of things, almost everything as a student. So firstly, from your country, the scholarship covers your air ticket, even your application, like your visa application, that is for Kenya, the ETA. The scholarship covers your air ticket your visa application. That is the ETA for Kenya. So that is the first thing. You're both in and out, like to and fro, coming here, going back. Everything is covered by the scholarship. And also, once you get here, the scholarship covers your health. Yeah, there is an insurance component of the scholarship, so it covers your health once you get sick and everything. And also, the scholarship gives you a stipend to cater for yourself. That is your personal, where your apartment, that's your apartment, what you eat, internet, uh, basically everything. The scholarship covers everything. So it covers your tuition too. So once you're accepted here, you don't think about tuition. You're not going to pay any tuition. So the extra money given to you as stipend will take care of where you will sleep. That is your apartment, your books, internet. Maybe they will know the scholarship will not specifically provide you a laptop, but I think you can, provide that from your stipend and all that. Yeah, so the scholarship covers basically your to and fro, that is your round trip, air tickets, your visa application, your tuition fee, your house rent, what you will eat here, everything basically, insurance and all that. Yeah, so basically as we
So
come here, we don't think about anything money, like thinking about anything money someone should send. No, scholarship covers everything. Sure.
how did you get where to live? Was it organized by the university or did you organize
Yeah.
it yourself?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so before we came here, before we got to the airport, when we got to the airport, we were given a contact to call. And then when we got to the Jomo Kenyatta Airport, International Airport, the JKIA, they were already there waiting for us. So they took us right from the airport and then from there to the apartment where we were supposed to be. So it was already organized. And then for my apartment specifically, it was paid for 1 month. But some apartments were paid for like 6 months due to different conditions in the apartment. So for my apartment, the first month it was paid for, so that from there, after the 1 month, if you want to move or if you want to go anywhere, your stipend covers that one too. So if you want to move to any place, you can move and then pay for yourself because your stipend covers that one. It is given to you personally. So before we came, we were picked from the airport. Then the apartment was arranged for us. Then they brought us here.
You needed a visa to study in Kenya.
Yeah, we needed an ETA, but not
So
all.
could you please advise me about the ETA, the process that you went through to apply for ETA? And we understand this is specifically for Ghana. But very briefly, what was required? What did you do to get your ETA and such?
Okay. So firstly, I would say that, yeah, as you said, not all countries are required to, apply for ETA, like the East African countries. But for us from the West and the other part of Africa, we're supposed to apply for ETA. And then even for Ghana, we did not pay for the ETA. Some countries paid, like Nigeria paid, but country like Ghana, we didn't pay for ETA, but others pay around $35 for the ETA, which was, paid also by the African Union. So if you pay, the African Union will refund it. Yeah. And so the application for the ETA was not really a tedious thing. Firstly, you have to get your ticket, your air ticket. So firstly, the most important thing was the air ticket, and then something to show that when you come, where you are going to sleep, like maybe you've booked apartment. That is, I'm talking in the general perspective. If you booked apartment or something, your receipt or something to prove that you have where to sleep when you come to Kenya. And so for us, the Pan-African University scholars, because everything was arranged by the African Union, that is the Pan-African University, we were given a letter that shows or that states that our accommodation will be provided by the institute. So we attached that letter at where we are supposed to show our accommodation. So we attach that letter to the accommodation, and then the admission letter, because you are applying as a student. So the admission letter and then the accommodation, and then your air ticket. Basically, these three items. So the other part of the application is just your personal details, your name, where you are going to school, and all that questions about where you're going to school and all that. And then the other will be your accommodation, your air ticket. You upload these documents there to prove that you have these things. So basically, it was not any tedious job to do. Yeah.
Are you allowed to work as a student?
Okay. For Pan-African universities, Pan-African university students, you are restricted, totally restricted to work, because it is in the contract we signed that as you are coming here, because everything is being catered for by the Pan-African University, you are not supposed to work, because it's like the African Union wants you to concentrate very well on your studies. You want to give all your all to the study. So you are not allowed to work basically as a Pan-African University scholar, because everything is being catered for, and even you get kind of extra cash, because as living in Africa and getting some dollars in Kenya, where cost of living, well, I would say, is not that much high. Yeah, you even get some extra cash, and then you don't have to work, and you are fully restricted. You can't work.
So let's go back now to the stipend.
Okay.
And I wanted you to help me break down the stipend. Please don't tell me the very, very basic things you do about it, but it would be nice for you to advise me. I'm coming from Congo, and I want to understand what to expect in Kenya when I land there. So if you can remember, how much are you paid in dollars? How much are you paid for a stipend for a master's student?
Okay, for a master's, we are paid $588. Yeah, 508. Yeah, and
Per
for
month.
PhD is 821. Yeah.
So it is $588 and $821,
Yeah.
depending on your level, right?
Sure.
So I'm just trying to draft my budget here.
Okay.
So I have these numbers. I want to know how long, or how much I'm looking at in terms of how expensive things are in Kenya, right?
Sure.
I want to go and buy a liter of milk, right?
Okay.
Or bread. So in Kenyan shillings, how much am I looking at here?
Okay. In Kenya, bread, usually what the bread I buy is 100. That is 100 Kenyan shilling, 100 Kenyan shilling. Yeah. And some are 65. Normally the usual bread is 65, but what I buy is kind of maybe some nice bread, so at least it costs around 100. And some might also cost up to kind of 150, or the bigger ones might even cost 200. But usually 100 is cool for a bread. And then for milk, but I think the smallest one is 25. And then I've not really checked the liter, but
Okay.
yeah, the smallest one is
Okay,
25.
we will stick with the bread. So
Yeah.
one right now as we speak, 1 Kenyan shillings is equal to, so $1 is equal to 135.
Yeah.
So around there, 130, 135, 120. Depends where you are going to exchange your currency. So it means with $1, you are very likely going to get bread and a quarter liter of milk. I don't know.
Yeah. With $1 you usually get.
So as a person now, you can be able to estimate what you want, what your expenses are going to be. And another alternative for a person who is traveling to Kenya, they can check online stores, and then they can always estimate the prices of things on the other side.
Yeah.
One very good alternative is get a scholar like Godfred here and ask him those very, very basic questions. Then you will get to know, like, do I need an extra budget? But in my understanding, sincerely speaking, I don't think people need an extra budget with that amount of money.
No, not at all.
Unless, of course, if you are going to party and have another very nice fancy life.
Yeah,
Now, speaking about social life in Kenya,
okay.
I know there's not a lot of jollof and egusi. So how do you integrate yourself in the Kenyan society?
Okay. You see, for us, since when we came, actually, food issues were, it was kind of a bit, it was a problem. But you see, somebody like me, maybe I easily, integrate, especially when it comes to food, I can easily. So when I came at first, maybe the food I was eating most was maybe chapati. Chapati, right? Yeah, Kenyan chapati, and then maybe mandazi because we have something similar in Ghana.
Mhm.
Yeah, so mandazi and chapati, that was mostly the food I was able to buy outside. And then apart from that, I tried buying rice too from some of the cooked rice from some of this restaurant. And then for us, the problem, especially with West Africans, is that you see we eat pepper, kind of a lot
Mhm.
of pepper. But here in Kenya, people don't eat pepper. Actually, even if
Yeah.
you go to
Like the
markets,
food is not spicy.
yeah, it is not. I don't
Hmm.
know whether you call pepper a spice. Kenyans call pepper a spice, but we don't call pepper a spice. You see,
Yeah, I
like
I know spicy. I know pepper. Speaking to a native Kenyan, if you tell them pepper, it's gonna be a little bit.
yeah, they'll
Okay.
say chili. They'll say chili.
Yeah. So they have a different name for that.
Yeah,
But I get what you're saying. The food is less spicy. Like it's mostly plain-ish in
yeah,
your
mostly
compared to
plain.
your West African food.
Sure. Mostly plain. So we needed to, adapt. And then I think basically for now, most times I have to cook. Yeah, I usually cook. Yeah.
Hmm.
So I have to get some foodstuffs from the market. For the foodstuffs, I think we have something similar here to what we have in Ghana. Maybe apart
Hmm.
from some few things which are not available here, but most of the things are kind of available. So if you want to cook yourself, yeah, you can
Hmm.
get your rice. Maybe it's yam that I don't really see, but you can get yam too, and get even potatoes. I think potatoes are very common too in Kenya, whether the Irish
Hmm.
potato, the sweet potato, and all that. So usually I think I have adapted to cooking. So usually I cook. But apart from cooking, you can get, if you want to buy something outside, you can get some chapati, mandazi,
Hmm.
you can get some juice too. Juice are very common in Kenya too. It's not like Ghana where we don't have a lot of maybe natural fruit and natural juice, all that, because Kenya, almost a lot of things are natural. That's what I like about Kenya, because even the milk, see in Ghana, the milk we have there in Ghana is kind of a processed milk, so the taste
Hmm.
is different from what is here in Kenya. But Kenya, a lot of things are, natural. Like the fruit, you can easily get the fruit at a lower price. So I think for fruits and that one, Kenya has a lot of fruit. So if you're coming to Kenya, you like fruits, you will really enjoy, because you can get orange, you can get apple, you can get avocado and all that. Because usually, even me, I like avocado a lot. So since I came here, I've been eating almost every day. I eat avocado.
Yeah,
So
there's plenty of that.
yeah,
There's plenty
plenty.
of that, and you can always get it either in the supermarket or an open market, depending on
Yeah.
where you prefer to get it.
Yeah, so food in Kenya is not really a problem for an
Okay.
African. It's not
Hmm.
really a problem, apart from maybe West African who say I like pepper, but it's not really a
Hmm.
problem, because if you want to cook, you can get pepper in the market and cook everything
Yeah.
yourself. Sure.
So
And
so
I wanted
sorry
to
for
say that
cutting.
I was saying that Kenya too, there is a lot of meat in Kenya, unlike my
Hmm.
country Ghana, where we don't eat a lot of meat. But Kenyans eat a lot of meat, so there is a lot of meat in Kenya. So if you want meat
Hmm.
too, you can easily get beef, you can get chicken, even pork and all that. Yeah, unlike
Yeah, there's
Ghana.
plenty of that.
Yeah,
Now,
plenty.
there's one thing that you found as a culture shock in Kenya. What is it for you?
Okay. One thing I found, and I was like, Kenyans, why? For us in Ghana,
Hmm.
even before from your crèche and primary school, basic school, like you are taught that wherever you meet someone, you have to greet the person. If you are
Hmm.
coming and the person is going, you have to greet, because you might not know what is there.
Yeah.
But yeah, you might not know what is there. Maybe if you greet a person, it will start a conversation, and the person will tell you, "Oh, this place you are going, there is something there, so maybe you might not want to go."
Hmm.
So when I came to Kenya, I was kind of Ghanaian. So if I see everyone, I am just greeting, and but you see somebody you greet, and the person will not mind you. You go.
Hmm.
Yeah, you see a guy, a lady, you greet them and they'll be like, they'll be looking at you and then they will pass. They will not
Mhm.
mind. Like seriously. And then
Mhm.
I asked some of my, Ghanaian mates who are already here and they were like, "Guy, that's how these Kenyans are. Like everybody mind his business in Kenya. Like they
Mhm.
just want to mind their business. They are going their way. They are doing their thing. But for us
Mhm.
from Ghana, if you meet anyone, whether you know the person, you don't know the person, you have to greet the person. That is what we are taught in Ghana. But here
Ah,
it is
okay,
different.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
So
So
at least you found that as a difficult thing to integrate into the Kenyan society. But
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
bet you are now used to it. But don't take that culture back there. If it's not there, people will be like,
Yeah,
so you went to Kenya and now you are so different.
sure.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
see,
yeah.
even in the apartment I am living in, apart
Mhm.
from maybe the people I'm in class with, or maybe some other Ghanaian mates that you move and then you move out and then you greet them. Apart from that, anyone sees you, he pass. But Ghana, you can't live in an apartment without knowing the next person to you, the other person here. You have to know everyone. Because once you move out, you have to greet everyone. But here, it's not like that. You just move and you go your way. You mind your business.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is the Kenyan spirit for you, and that is
Yes.
we usually say every society has their own way of things, and
Yeah.
it is now up to you as a scholar to try and blend into that society. But I believe, I really hope that everything is working out for you
Sure,
as
sure.
you study there. So, um, we are actually almost out of time. And so this is the part where we get to discuss about what you think about the application. So if somebody is making an application today, is there
Mhm.
something different you could have done that you did?
Okay, okay, okay. So I would say, not really, not really too much different things. Maybe I couldn't have done because I did a lot of most of the expected things to be done. But I
Hmm.
think if someone is making an application, maybe you need to contact if you I think if you go to LinkedIn and then you search Pan African University, maybe you might get people in the university, people who are currently studying there, and then ask them about certain things. I think I didn't do that because I didn't. Once I saw the scholarship, it was about ending, so I just had to, apply fast, and I didn't do a lot of things. And then even
Hmm.
with my letter I was talking about, I don't think I, had enough time to, write the cover letter very well as I want to because I was basically writing a lot of statement of purpose and then personal statement to the US and Canada. So this one turns out to be a cover letter. So I had to, restructure it again and then I restructure my statement of purpose and other things to, suit that. So I think one of the most important, if you get someone here and ask him about how to go about it, I think things will be kind of more easier for you when
Hmm.
you are applying. And then one thing I also noticed was that maybe I don't know, maybe I said I was kind of maybe lucky, but it was stated that you are supposed to certify all the documents you use to apply. Me
Hmm.
personally, I think the two documents that was certified was my certificate and then my transcript. They were certified. The other documents were not certified. So I think if you want to apply, try as much as possible to certify these documents too, and then be kind of motivated because sometimes some people think. I remember when we were applying, some people thought that because it is Africa, if you don't know anybody, it might not work out. Because even me, I thought the same way. But I realized when we came here, I realized no, here it's not like that. So when you're applying, just
Hmm.
get the courage and then apply. And then one thing I would advise too is more females you apply. It's a fact because the African Union want to, get at least 30% females. But even this year, the number of students who came here, we have some few females, which is not even up to maybe 15%. So like a lot of females, if you are hearing this, think you can take this opportunity and then go through this Pan African University scholarship and then apply. Yeah, more females should apply, and then the guys to get the courage and apply. Here it's not like where you think because here is Africa. If you don't know anybody, you might not be picked out. No, I don't think here is like that. So just apply and then do your things right, certify your document, contact someone to ask about how things should be done and all that. And I believe if you're able to do that, things will work out really well. Sure.
So I just met you on this podcast, but I may want to connect with you later. What platforms can I reach you?
You can reach me on LinkedIn. I am very active on LinkedIn. Basically, that's where, yeah.
He will leave the link to his profile to the description of this video. So if you want to connect with Godfred, please check him out on LinkedIn. Be in touch. He's very willing to help you answer any questions you may have about the Pan-African University Scholarship.
Sure.
Now, that brings us to the end of our conversation. But always remember that in case you may need to have a formal engagement about what we discuss here and in any other scholarship, we usually provide one-to-one conversation to scholars, either the ones we host or some on our program. And now you can book these conversations. Just check the description of this video. You will get all the information and all the links on how you can book appointments. So what is your parting shot, Godfred?
You see, we might all not, have kind of the courage and then the way to, apply for these scholarships and all that we are talking about. Because some of us, we didn't even imagine we might be here, maybe under a scholarship, especially an African Union scholarship. So firstly, what I want to tell you is that just plan to start. Plan, start, and then be determined to get a scholarship. Because it is not easy to, especially at the master's or PhD level, it is not very easy to pay your fees and then be doing this hectic research and other things. So what I want to tell you is that plan and then take the step and then be determined. It's not easy to get a scholarship. As a matter of fact, it's not easy to get a scholarship. Just be determined and then try as much as possible to do everything right and then apply for whatever scholarship, you get your hands on. Anything you get your hands on, go through the requirement in order to see whether you are fit for this particular scholarship. If you are fit, apply. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to start something. If you start, surely one day you might get there. All right. So thank you very much.
So that was Godfred Kankam, and this is the Management Diary. See you again in our next episode. Bye-bye.